Never Leave the Woods by John E. Ware. Cora had never seen beyond the trees at the riverbank. She sat on the embankment peering into darkness, a swallowing, empty feeling unfolding in her mind, always curious. Is there something out there? She thought. It lingered a bit as she felt the cool brook at her toes, standing just inches in the riverbed. She dared not move another inch. Mother would be watching, she thought. The woods seemed asleep. A breath of air was cool on her face as she warmed in the sun between the trees. She looked across the brook, her toes inching forward into the brook, but never further. Never leave the woods, her mother said. She dared not move another inch into the stream. The cool water ran through her toes and made small ripples around her feet, but she dared not move another inch. Above her head were her mother's bone-stick apparitions of dolls and odd-shaped wood figures dangling from the lower branches of trees, all wrapped with briar and vine. They dotted the brook line, a warning not to go past them. The woods echoed her memory again. Never, ever leave the woods, child, her mother spoke, her voice as firm as granite and as soft as moss. The woods are ours. The woods are safe. Out there, she gestured with her brown eyes, looking beyond the black pines. There are creatures. They do not belong to us, and we do not belong to them. Cora! A low yell rolled through the trees. Mother was calling in the distance, and she retreated back into the engulfing shadows between the branches and the smothering pines. The house they lived in sagged into the Appalachian hills like an old man's sunken memory, half swallowed by years of moss and vine, creeping along the boarded sides and around a glimpse of a river rock chimney. Its timber leaned as if bracing against some long-forgotten sorrow. Its wooden bones bowed under time and shadow. The stone chimney was thick with ivy and lichen. Trees stood close around it, sentinels of bark and branch. Cora's mom always said the wind here whispered secrets older than memory. Cora moved swiftly through the woods, knowing every branch, every rock, and every mound to leap upon. She grew up knowing only the feeling of tree bark at her fingertips and listening to birdsong. The scent of mushroom rings and seeing the possible twitch of deer ears in the dusk was all she knew. It seemed enough. She learned the names of plants from their scents, not books. She could mimic the call of an owl and catch a squirrel in one swift motion. Her hair smelled of smoke and cedar. Her eyes were the color of wet soil. Her feet were always bare, and she felt the pulse of the forest under her soles. The cabin had no mirrors. They didn't need them, her mother said. They didn't need a lot of things. But as the moon turned and turned again, and her body stretched taller, Cora began to ache. A low hunger. A wandering, her mother called it. What's out there, Mama? Yond the woods? Asked Cora once. Mama had just finished sweeping the front steps. Her mother turned around from her work to sink into her heels, looking beyond the tree line and deep into the vast darkness. Not in a worry. If you stay here, child, all we needin' is here. Her mama looked around, hoping for the answer to suffice. Cora moved her eyes slowly. The woods seemed to whisper something, a voice, troubling, as if it stirred alive. Cora heard the branches snap and the brook crossed. The birds soon swallowed the sky as they took to the air. Something stirred in the woods. Cora could hear it all around her. Her mother, too. Inside, Mama said. What's going? Now, Cora. Cora put the broom against the house, leaning into the doorway a bit when she heard them, rustling through the brush, talking, laughing. Then came the hikers. It was in the orange-warm cusp of late summer when the forest sighed with ripeness that they arrived. There were 4 of them, youthful and sun-kissed, with bright red nylon backpacks and bottled water. Cora moved swiftly behind the doorway. She eased into the shadows of the door, just out of sight. She looked through the windows and watched them stumble into the clearing like a wound in the woods. There were 2 girls dressed in warm jackets. One was blue, the other green, and 2 boys were ahead pointing out the tree line, looking at the house in the distance. Each of them had a satchel and red bags across their backs. Her mother met them at the edge of the porch. Her apron was stained and her eyes were dark with warning. "You lost?" she yelled. "Didn't you see them?" she called out. "Didn't you see the sign?" "You mean these," and the man in the red jacket held up one of the briar and vine dolls, smiling foolishly. "I was wondering who came up with these." "The signs! The trail signs!" Mama shouted. "You don't go beyond the signs. If you leave now, back the way you came, you'll reach the trail before late nightfall." "What? You gotta be joking." "Turn around. Don't stay," Mama interrupted. Another man came out from group. Cora could see his dark hair poking out from beneath a woolen cap. "We're sorry to encroach upon your land," he said nicely. "Quite frankly, we didn't know people actually live out this far, but then we saw the twisted branch dolls and figures. Well, we were curious." He stopped and looked at the group. The ladies began whispering to each other. "We've been walking all day," he said. "Can we just set up camp nearby?" Cora could now see he was the tallest boy. His voice was easy, but his smile seemed too wide. "No," said her mother. "This forest is not for you. If you leave now, back the way you came. You should be back at the trail before it's pitch dark." But they did not listen, Cora thought. They never will. "We'll be gone in the morning, I promise. We can camp right here. We won't go anywhere near your home." Mama stared intently and turned around to walk into the house. She looked at Cora sinking close to the doorframe as the group began to unpack. "Go to your room, child," she demanded. Mama closed the door and pulled in the curtains. She looked around, felt the door close behind her, and leaned against it while studying the room for a moment. Cora eased her way up the narrow wooden staircase, all the time trying to peer through the curtains. "Bed, now," Mama called out. Cora ran up the stairs, not looking back, hearing sounds of the group talking and laughing. The house was silent then. Upstairs, Cora listened by the windows with the oil lamps dimmed. She could see the campfire and the 4 strangers sitting around it while talking and laughing subtly. Their camps were behind them. The darkness beyond them smothered their campfire, and she thought owls were watching too, high above in the trees, listening. The night creatures were coming out, all sorts to gaze upon the new people and their campfire. Cora listened as her mother paced the floor downstairs for an hour until she lay on the creaking bed frame. She waited until the house fell still. The girls were giggling now. She could hear their faint laughter bounce off the dark trees and carry through the night. She could see them huddled close, each one passing a bottle between them. Something about their laughter, their openness, the pressing feeling that they sat with not a care in the world, lured Cora to step down the staircase, moving ever slowly and quietly, until she reached the back door of the house. She opened it, slowly, sinking out into the night and within the shadows. They were subtly laughing again. It was strange to hear their voices drown out the night. She moved slowly behind an orange tent, out of sight, crouching down to hear the voices. "Never a dull moment with you two," called out one of the girls. She had a white cap on and stretched her hands out to warm them. "I said we're going on an adventure, didn't I?" said the man in a red jacket. He took a swallow from the bottle and passed it on to the other man with the wool cap. His face was lit from the firelight. "This is insane. Who lives out here?" "I mean, out here?" said a girl. "Hicks," said the man in the red jacket. He passed the bottle to the other boy in a denim jean jacket. He drank and smiled. "It's really odd," he said. "Have you ever heard anyone talk about farms in this area?" "Did you see her face, Jamie?" interrupted one of the girls. His name was Jamie. She felt her toes tingle at the sound. She had heard it pass between them like a spell. "Jamie." His voice called something inside her. "Yes," said Jamie, "and I was hoping you wouldn't show that thing you found. I mean, what if it meant something to the lady?" "This thing?" He held up the Briar doll and looked at it. "It's just fire starter." He tossed the wood doll into the fire that made the girls squeal with excitement. "Do you think she's a moonshiner?" "I didn't see anything like that." Jamie watched the wood figure spark and burn. "Who lives out here?" "Alone too," said the other boy. A sudden thought crossed his brow, and Jamie was still for a moment. The girls leaned closer to the fire. "I can't believe it's this cool out here," the white-capped girl started. "Well, let's hit the hay early," Jamie said. "I don't want to be here after sunrise. We'll go at morning break, okay?" "Sure," said the other man. He took another taste of the liquid from the bottle, smacking his lips as he finished. Cora realized Jamie and the rest of the group were moving. She started backwards, ready to dart, when she suddenly fell into the orange tent opening. She looked around, hearing footsteps breaking the grass outside, and struggled to the corner of the tent. She saw Jamie moving closer, his hands pulling his cap further into his eyes. Cora scrambled backward into the tent corner and found herself leaning against the sides. Jamie suddenly appeared and looked startled for a moment. He looked back and turned to face her. He held up his hands and sat slowly down, whispering to her. "Hey, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Are you from the house?" Cora nodded. "My name is Cora," she said. He smiled again and sat back at the entrance of the tent. He scratched his neck and swatted a gnat. "How do you stand these bugs?" He laughed. Cora laughed quietly with him, noticing his smile and his dark eyes. He removed his cap and scratched his neck. "Mint, or sassafras, helps keep 'em away," Cora replied. She seemed to hear her own voice then. It sounded odd to her. Her fingers were on fire, it seemed. "I'll remember that," Jamie said. He smiled and leaned towards his pack against the inside of the tent. He pulled out a water bottle and handed it to her. "Thirsty?" She nodded and reached out for it, heart thudding like a rabbit. The firelight made her skin feel wrong, too hot, too open. His fingers brushed hers. His touch was cool. Hers felt hot. He backed away from her with an odd look on his face. Cora sat frozen for a moment, then smiled awkwardly. "Not seen folks round here, like y'all," she said. "We don't get visitors." "Yeah, about that," Jamie started. "So, you were listening and never came out?" "Mama said to be out of sight. She wouldn't like me here." "Yeah, I guess that." Jamie looked awkwardly around for a moment. He looked at her oddly. Something seemed to change in his face. "Do you smell that?" he asked. "Like wildflowers, it's—" "Hey, Jamie!" A call came from outside. "Yeah? You good?" Jamie smiled and put his finger to his lips. "Yeah, all good." "Well," he said quietly, "I hope we're not troubling you?" "I mean, I should go," Cora interrupted. She passed the bottle back to him, leaning towards him, his face close to hers. A smell, like wildflowers, perfumed her senses. The stars outside seemed brighter, more alive in the twilight. "Okay, maybe. In the morn." Suddenly they were close, eyes locked, fingers inching toward each other, His breath smelled sweet to her. A low thudding started in her chest, moving to her ears where her heart beat out loud the sounds of the woods outside. His gaze met hers. Her eyes locked on him. They kissed. She did not know the word for it, but she knew it was something real, something that changed things. Well, hey, Jamie began. Then the sound came. A low thudding in her ears that got louder. A deep swift of wind, her body tilted, as if losing her balance. A howl, distant but sharp, pierced the night. Jamie froze. What the hell was that? Mama? Cora felt the spinning earth beneath her, her face hot as fire. Hey, Cora? Cora? You all, right? His voice trailed, his eyes darted back. Cora's breath stiffened. Her mouth tasted like sulfur, her vision blurred. The fire seemed to smear sideways, and she felt heat, a rising fever in her bones, as though her veins boiled. The moon, huge and white, climbed above the trees. Her last thought was, Mother warned me, before the world tilted and fell into darkness. Cora woke beside a stream, her hands muddy, her dress torn. Her head throbbed with echoes of the night before. Her limbs felt achy and strange, like they remembered something she didn't. The woods were quiet. She sat up, feeling her toes in the stream. Her dress lay beside her, torn and dirty. She followed the path home, her bare feet bleeding on sharp stones she'd never noticed before. Smoke curled from the chimney. She found her mother in the clearing behind the house, tamping down the earth with the back of a shovel. Her skirt was smeared with damp soil. A thick pile of overturned leaves marked a shallow mound. Something red poked from the dirt. It was nylon. Where's Jamie? Cora asked. Her mother did not turn. Where are the others? The shovel paused. We live by the moon, her mother said. Her voice was low, steady as wind through trees. Our forest is our home. The night is our song. The earth is our history. Cora stared at the half-covered tent. Her stomach lurched, not from fear, but recognition. What did I do? She whispered. Her mother turned to her now, her face tired and grave, and full of something that might have been sorrow or pride or both. You did what we do. What the woods do. What the moon has always asked of us. Cora felt a coldness in her belly and a fire in her throat. She remembered Jamie's hands on hers and his warmth. She remembered the howl. You never told me, she shouted. You weren't ready, her mother quietly replied. Am I now? Her mother placed the shovel against the tree. The breeze stirred the leaves above. Somewhere far off, a crow cawed. Others will fade in time, but we will not fade from these woods, her mother said. Never leave our home, never leave the woods. Cora looked toward the trees, tall and silent, and felt them watching her. She looked down at her hands and felt her fingers ache, but the memory of his touch seemed to linger as well. The wind blew through the trees like a whisper, like a song, and somewhere among them, something ancient stirred,